When it comes to caliber, accept no compromise. Hello and welcome to the Killing Floor 2 Weapon Guide. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the Commando's Tier 4 weapons, the Scar H. The Scar H is actually better described as a battle rifle rather than an assault rifle, as it chambers a full power rifle round. As the game suggests, the Scar was originally developed for the United States Special Operations Command, and as such features quite a bit of ergonomic luxuries, as well as ample stopping power. In-game, the Scar is obviously a commando weapon, and can be purchased from the trader for a hefty 1500 Dosh, the same price as the Stoner and Medic AR. Regardless of your loadout, you'd be wise to carry this towards the later portions of the game, for reasons we'll cover later. Damage is very high, dealing 55 damage by default, slightly more than the 1911s, however with hollow point ammunition and being level 25, will deal more damage more in line with a Desert Eagle, giving it quite a bit of stopping power for a fully automatic weapon. Against weaker Zeds, it will drop them in 1 to 2 hits at max level, making short work especially of cysts, stalkers, and crawlers. However, the main sell of this weapon is how quickly it can take down medium Zeds such as bloats, husks, and sirens, all of which can be dispatched in as little as 2 headshots, and can even pose a threat to Skrakes if you can keep your weapon on target. Unfortunately, outside of solo and maybe 2-player games, the Scar will rapidly wane efficacy against fleshpounds, as their sporadic movement and massive head health will require considerable attention. Fire rate is on the lower side for the commando weapons, firing at a cyclic rate of 625 rounds per minute on full auto and 600 in single fire. While similar to the L85A2, the AK-12, Stoner, and Medic AR will shoot much faster, making them more effective at hip firing, especially considering the ammo costs for the Scar. Recoil for the weapon is bearable, however the use of hollow points is still highly recommended. Mostly for the increased damage, but the additional control will make the extra damage count. All the bullets in the world will do little good if they do not strike their targets. Accuracy for the Scar is the highest in the assault rifles, and is even on par with many sharpshooter weapons, making it great for singling out lone enemies amongst a sea of clots. Take advantage of this weapon's high precision to target weak points such as the head of most enemies, or the fuel tanks on husks, to help thin the herd. While the Scar and Commando are not an adequate substitute for a sharpshooter, the combo's high precision can at least allow these marksmen to focus on more imposing threats without the fear of their grenades being destroyed or being sniped by a rogue husk. Ammo capacity is generous as well, although this is common for the Commando. The Scar will feed from a standard 20 round magazine, but can be upgraded to a 50 round depending on your skill selection. Reserve ammunition is also high, being able to carry an additional 340 rounds, which should be more than enough for even a mediocre marksman. However, there is a caveat attached to that, as this weapon can quickly chew through ammo without discipline. Often I will manually set the weapon to single fire until fully automatic fire is warranted. Reload speeds are the fastest in class, taking 2.78 seconds for a tactical reload and 2.62 seconds for a full reload. Elite reloads will take 2.07 seconds and 1.81 seconds respectively. As a side note, the Scar has also the fastest equip and put down time, although only by a couple dozen milliseconds. Most of the skills won't make a large difference in gameplay, and many will come down to personal preference. Although for the tiers 3 and 4, I would highly suggest tenacious and hollow point rounds, as the additional mag capacity and reserve ammo is less meaningful overall than the additional damage, less recoil, and more durability. The effect of impact rounds is also quite negligible, plus the additional weapon swap speed of backup is extremely helpful when using a medic assault rifle as a secondary. Overall, the Scar makes an excellent pairing with the AK or Medic AR, and your choice of secondary will come down to what quality of medic you have, if you have one at all, and personal preference. Although a medic pistol can be taken in addition to the AK if supplemental healing is needed, but the Medic AR's recoil is unbearable. This weapon works best when you are in control of the situation. Pace your shots, aim for headshots when beneficial, and don't panic if Zeds move closer. When you're on the run, ammo may become a bigger concern, but practice can help remedy this to an extent. Focus on anything from a husk and below. And while the high damage may seem like a bit of overkill on a lot of enemies, as long as you're accurate, you should have no problem keeping your weapon stocked. Resort to killing big enemies when all else fails, as it will take a considerable amount of lead to bring even Skrakes down, assuming every round connects. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in the next weapon, head over to my Twitter page where I will be holding a poll for the next weapon to be reviewed. Until next time though, happy hunting.